Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Creating in Fortnite. My name is Shane Kelly Meyer, and I'm the community manager over here on Fortnite Create. And today we're going to be talking all about Squid Game tools. Squid Game tools. I know there was a lot of hype for that when we announced it. People have been anxiously awaiting it. You got your hands on the tools, you're able to play around with it, build some really great stuff. And yeah, the publishing lift is up. So it is time. It is time to really dive in and check those out. And because of that, to celebrate, we wanted to make sure we get the team on here. Part of the team who is responsible for building out these tools and have them talk about them more, answer any burning questions that you have, and kind of celebrate what's gone into these. Also, just to kick it off, if you have any questions for the lovely team here while we're going, please put them in one of the chats that we have. We're on Fortnite Create, or YouTube, Unreal Engine YouTube, and Unreal Engine Twitch. 3 whole channels. So definitely join us and ask your questions. If you do have one, please put question in front of it so we can easily pick it out, because sometimes we get tons and tons and tons of great questions from you all, and we want to make sure we get our eyes on them. We'll only be answering questions that are on topic today about Squid Game tools, because that's the team that we have here, and that's the questions that we're able to answer. So get them ready, send them our way, and let's intro the team. Welcome, welcome, team. Thanks for coming today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Good to be here.
Absolutely.
Great to
Yay!
be here.
Wonderful. Well, I'll go ahead and throw for some brief introductions. I'll throw it to you. Let's see. We've had Aiden before. I'll throw you to you, Aiden.
Hi, I'm Aiden McDough. I'm a senior gameplay programmer here at Epic. My job is to support kind of Dylan and Vicky as they decide what the tools are supposed to be, how we want to build them. I kind of engineer them up when they need help, and I make sure that we get a successful launch. And I'm active in the Discord channels. If you're in the IP Tools chat or the Squid Game chat or the Lego chat, I'm a fencer in the Discord. So if you're asking any questions there, I'll be try my best to answer them or to bring them to the team to answer. I'll throw it back to Shane to choose who's next then.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We'll throw it to a newbie, lovely Vicky Thompson. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, good to be here. I'm not nervous for my first stream. Yeah, I'm Vicky Thompson. I am the design lead on Epic's IP program. This is my first stream. Have I mentioned that? I've worked on quite a few of the IP collabs so far, like Turtles and The Walking Dead, and now Squid Game. I was there in the crowd at UE Fest, and I heard your audible gasp when we announced Squid Game. So I'm really excited to talk to you more about the tools and how they came to be and answer some of your questions. And give you, yeah, maybe a little peek behind the curtain of how we come up with like the creative vision for these things and all that sort of thing.
Yay, we're so lucky to have you. Tried to have Vicky on earlier, but things just didn't work out with timing. But so glad to finally have her on now. And finally, we have the wonderful Dylan, who has been with us before. Welcome, Dylan.
Thank you. Yeah, I was here for The Walking Dead, and now I'm back. So I'm Dylan. I'm a designer, technical designer. So along with Aiden, I build this stuff or try to build the stuff that Vicky and the rest of the team comes up with.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Sweet. Okay, cool. Well, we have quite a bit to cover today. And again, get your questions ready. I see a couple people dropping things in chat for a bit. But yeah, I guess let's kick it off with a kind of why this all came to be. Why Squid Game? What was the idea overall? What was the kind of North Star for this project that we've been working on, and why did we bring it here?
I guess I'm gonna take that one. So
Thanks.
yeah, on our team, on our team, we have lots of IP partners that we are really excited to work with, and I think the opportunity to work with Netflix on Squid Game happened like quite early at the start of this year, and they were really keen to collab with us and bring something to UGC that would coincide with the Skins launch for their season 3 of the series coming out in the summer, and it was a no-brainer one for us to pick up really because it's just such an amazing opportunity, such a great OP, and it will really help. We thought that people push in some different genres and gameplay directions for UGC because it's just quite different than anything we've really done before. So we jumped straight into it. We started thinking about what was important in the show that we really wanted to bring across in the tools and the content we were offering, where those opportunities might be, and what sort of games we might see. And on our team, we always like to start at the end a little bit. We start to think, what games would we want to make if we were creators, and what things would players be really excited to play? And we have a think about that, and we look at the gaps in our tools and on our platform that might make it hard to bring games like that to life. And we consult with Netflix and just wider Epic to kind of put together a bit of a compelling package. And now would be a good time to screen share. Our creative pillars. This is where we started with Squid Game. This is really early on in development, but I thought I was looking back and thinking, what can I share on the stream that would be interesting? And I guess you guys don't get to see this sort of thing from us super often. It could be cool to see that we started here with this core fantasy. Like, what do we really want to bring to the platform? And it was the thought that what is Squid Game and what are people going to make out of it? It's childhood games with adult stakes. No matter what country Squid Game kind of takes place in, it's always got that common root of quite a macabre twist on a childhood game. It's
Definitely.
quite innocent, the actual mechanics and stuff, but obviously the stakes are life and death. So how can we bring that to UGC? That's where we started. And these were our three pillars. So childhood games. What mechanics can we fill the gaps in? What is sort of hard to do today, and what can we expand on there that would just help people build their own childhood games, or play with elements like recreating from the show as well. What could we bring there? And it's all of these things are done socially, of course. So social play was a really big thing for us as well. We wanted to remove any barriers that we found there and figure out what we could do to expand things in that way. But the most exciting one, I think, that we all got really emotionally involved in was the deception and betrayal one, because it's not just the things you do. It's not just the fact that you do them together. It's what that means to you. And when you've got this interesting deception and betrayal layer on top of all the things you're doing together, it brings a whole new meaning to the game. So we spent a lot of time thinking what could we unlock there so that people can tell different stories. So this is kind of where we started.
Awesome.
And as we went through and thought through the different features we'd deliver against each of these different creative pillars, we took a bit of a different approach than we did for previous IPGFSs, and we thought actually a lot of these things are not necessarily iconic to Squid Game, and we should give them to all creators. So we didn't gate them all behind the Squid Game GFS this time, and we actually released them across the whole ecosystem, which was really
Yes.
cool.
Very cool.
And yeah, so we offered all of that stuff across the whole ecosystem, and I'm really glad that we did that now, and I hope that we'll do more of that where we can going forward, just so that everyone gets access to the cool new stuff. We get more time to kind of firm them up and bug fix and add more features like Extendverse APIs and so on ahead of the launch. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see. I think that's the most exciting thing is what will people do with the tools once they're out there, and especially like you said, Vicky, now that it's expanded like that. Oof. I can't wait to see what y'all are cooking up. I know it hasn't been super long yet, but we've already seen some really cool ones. But yeah, if anyone has anyone in chat been using the tools, how's it going? Let us know. Let us know in chat. For sure. For sure. Awesome. Okay, cool. Do we have, let's see, we've got some questions. Do you plan to add a gallery and prefabs for Squid Game? Have we talked about that yet?
Yeah, so this is a great question. I think I've discussed this a few times in the Discord.
Thank you.
So part of the inspiration for Squid Game as a tool set was to make your own unique kind of spins on childhood games. I'm still waiting to get my like Korean debt simulator game. No one's built that yet, right? So that would be the pre-Squid game. But as part of that, one of the things we wanted to kind of avoid was recreating exact destinations from the show. I think that you guys have done a great job of making inspirations from that or playing with the themes, but that's why with the initial release, we didn't include prefabs of those destinations. We wanted you guys to kind of riff on them or build them up on your own to come up with unique ways to get there. Now that we are out of release, maybe there's a possibility that it can happen. If you guys keep asking about it, that always helps us get the kind of ammo we need to push for that kind of thing. So I'll be sure to bring that request back to the team after this. But as of right now, there's no current plans to bring more prefabs for Squid Game to the tool set.
We did just get an additional, of course, question. Hi, El Poro. It says, will you add galleries prefab from Squid Game that are not in creative? Mingle game, hide and seek, glass bridge, black room seen in last season. So that's your answer, El Poro. But if you have any feedback, if there's things you'd like to see, please, please, please share those in the forums or in the Discord with the team here. It's just good for us to know what people want to see so that we can be aware. I don't think we'll be able to answer this question, but it is a really good question. Will there ever be let me see. Will it be possible to have your plugin reviewed by Epic, and if it's safe, be able to use it within UEFN game? That's great feedback. I don't think we're able to speak on that in this room because we don't know, but please definitely share those questions. Also, what you can do, I think you might be, but make sure and pop that question in the next Let's Chat, because the next Let's Chat is this Thursday, and we're going to be talking. Sorry, I'm still sick. We're going to be talking all about UEFN development as a whole and about tools. So I think that would be an excellent question, that plugin question for that stream. So make sure and go to the forum, search up the Let's Chat for UEFN development, and drop that in that forum post. That would be phenomenal. Oh, here's a great one. How long were the Squid Game tools in the making for? And were there any difficult situations during the process?
I'm going to say not very long and yes, and then I'll pass it to Vicky to provide some more context.
Oh no, Vicky.
I don't know if we can answer that exactly. I gave you a heads up that we were talking about signing this, I guess, at the start of the year, and I don't know if I can tell you exactly how long they were in development for. It was quite a tight turnaround, I'll say that.
Yeah.
As for problems, let's see. Sometimes it was a case of just we really wanted to be really ambitious with these tools because it's such a gameplay expansive kind of opportunity. And I hope it's not a cop-out answer to say, but just sometimes our ambitions got away with us and we weren't able to do everything that we wanted to do. But I mean, that's just game development. That's probably not a very interesting answer.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
It's true.
I bet a lot of people in this chat feel that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, and the tool set itself wasn't totally restricted to Squid Game. Dylan, for example, here, he built more than two great features that went to everybody that we kind of built for Squid Game, but we released early for everybody to use and get feedback on. Dylan, do you want to call out what those awesome things you built were?
Yeah, I'll say just in general, compared to the timeline for how we traditionally ship devices, the work we did on this one was pretty astoundingly fast. The amount of features we shipped, so that was cool to see the team kind of come together and rally around that. Just because, the IP is so great, and with that came like an ambition to really deliver on it. So yeah, it was a lot of work to get them out the door in the time we had, but really happy with the team and how they delivered. Specifically, I mean, a lot of the devices we shipped for Squid Game, the functionality we added plus the new devices, as much as we could, was reflected back into just the entire ecosystem. So I don't think it's specifically two devices. But the two really ambitious devices we did, with both, I think, had a couple, their share of challenges to ship, was the carryable device and the disguise device. And I have them up here. We can look at them, but I imagine everyone in the stream has already kind of seen those and played with them. But if you haven't, the carryable device is a device that lets you spawn a carryable object into the world. A carryable object is like kind of a bigger object that you can pick up and carry over your head. It's based off the snowball from Battle Royale. I'm sure many of our creators are familiar with the snowman hack. I think you can still do it, maybe not. You used to be able to do it in UEFN, where you break a snowman and you get the carryable snowball, and then you could like go in and change the mesh, and it was a very cool hack, but also super janky and not really the best way to achieve that. So this is kind of the official support for that now, and this was just like an easy pick for us. calling back to what Vicky said about recreating childhood games, giving you the ability to, spawn an object and pick up and carry it and run around with it and throw it was just like such a good fit for us.
Yeah.
And then kind of the other really big device we shipped was the disguise device, and also the disguise kit items. But this one really came out of what Vicky said about kind of that deception and social play. So giving you, kind of a new mechanic that you can put into your islands to play around with that. So those were the big ones, but there was a ton of other stuff. So we also had the progress-based mesh device, which again is available to anyone. But if you're building a Squid Game island, we use that to build the money piggy bank or the llama piggy bank. We have the brand new voting device and voting options. So this is something that lets you kind of very easily set up voting in your island,
Very
with just a
cool.
couple devices working together. And I'm probably missing other stuff as well. Dynamic team making, improvements to the skilled interact device. Yeah, so there was a ton of stuff in there. Very ambitious, I'll say.
Awesome. Awesome. Anybody in chat use the new tools yet? We got Vivid in chat. It was such a shock seeing the reveal of Squid Game coming to the game. So cool what you guys do it over at Epic. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, very nice. Has anyone used the new tools yet, though? I'm so curious to hear, especially if they cross the different genres. That would be amazing too. I have been seeing there's been questions about the job board in our Discord. Feel free and DM me. I have so many DMs right now, but I promise I will try to get to you as fast as possible. We're trying to keep job board chill, y'all, and I appreciate you for that. Disguise device got to be my favorite. Hope we get more skins added to it. Very cool, Ross. Voting device for the win. Great devices. Loved using them. Thank you. Yay, cool stuff. Okay, great. I'm glad. I'm so glad it's been helpful. More outfits. Should add all the characters. Yeah. I mean, I'm curious to the team. How hard is it to add those outfits? Like, I assume it probably takes more than people outwardly would realize.
The complicated question.
Yeah.
It's,
I figured.
there are some ecosystem guidelines that determine which outfits we can add.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's probably where I will leave that
Yes.
for the
Okay.
sake of this conversation. But we got a lot of them in Squid Game, which is great.
Yeah.
I saw comments saying people like the disguise device, which I think is great because when it was first released without Squid Game,
Yeah.
I remember seeing some really great comments like, "What's the point of this? Why do we even have this?" And I was sitting there like shaking my fist, like, "Just wait for Squid Game, you'll see, it'll make more sense,"
Yeah.
and all this stuff. Although some people have found some really great uses of just the default skins for disguise device. So I want to shout out those people who've done those kinds of those endeavors to figure out how to use it in really unique ways. So I've seen some cool things already, and I'm excited to see even more stuff come out of disguise device.
Absolutely, yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. In that there would be limitations there. I mean, there's so many different companies involved and all kinds of things going on behind the scenes when it comes to outfits. A lot more than people realize for sure. Let's see. Love disguise device. Oh yeah, and then Mindblow says it's a really cool way to get people immersed in the experiences. Yes, absolutely, Mindblow. I think that was the main reason we really, really were excited to get this over here. Let's see. We got some more questions.
Before we move on to that,
Yeah.
so we have a couple new things with the patch
Show
that
us.
just dropped today. One of the things that's very exciting is a new addition to the disguise device, which is the frontman outfit. So this is available in the disguise device. It's also available as a disguise kit.
Nice.
And then we've also added the frontman as an NPC spawner, so you can use it in the guard spawner, NPC spawner, character spawner. So that is brand new today.
Wow.
You can add them into your islands, which is very exciting. And I actually don't remember if this is new or not. But the other thing, apologies if it's not new, but the other thing we did is we also broke the games player out into specific cosmetics as well. So you can still use the random if you want to, but similar to how with the defaults we had random plus the individuals, we now have that for the games player as well. So that's brand new. So
Wow.
where it does make sense and where the path is easy to add those new cosmetics to disguises, we will definitely strive to do that.
Very cool. Thanks for showing us all that. That is a lot of new stuff. Have you all checked it out yet? Super, super brand new. Just today. It was the update. Yep. I'm making a roguelike in which Squid Game tool, and when a guard is eliminated, he drops his costume, letting the player blend in with the guard team. Ooh,
Oh, I
that's fun,
love
Upward.
that. That's so cool. That's exactly how I had hoped people would use this device. It's just like playing with that immersion and putting players into distinct roles. Like the guards are so iconic in Squid Game, and when you get placed into a game and you look like a guard, you know, right, that's how I should play. And same if you're a contestant as well. So it's really cool to hear people's different cool takes on the disguise device and how they're using it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have cool ways that you're using it, please send it to us. We're in the official Discord of Fortnite Creative and UEFN Discord. You can go in there and there is a Squid Game chat. The team is in there and would love to see what you're working on. We also have a Squid Game showcase, so please go in there and drop your islands. We'd love to see. Let's see. I've used UE5 for my own personal projects. I've never looked in UFN. Any suggestions to get detailed overview of what it offers? Yeah, John. Take a look at our. I'm sure you're already in Epic developer community. But if you go there, there should be a section specifically for Fortnite. So you can kind of pull that up and pull in to get started. Also, within the YouTube channel, I think you would have to go to the FN Create YouTube channel. But if you go there, there's tons of videos about like what to expect, how the tools work, how to get started, what is possible. We've got examples there. We've got islands that we've made, both with partners and also as Epic. So you can kind of check out all of the different things it can do. Today, we're talking about the new release of the Squid Game tool set, where we worked with Netflix's partnership to build these tools so you can create different Squid Game experiences within Fortnite. Or there's also tools that we launched alongside this, like being able to disguise yourself and so on and so forth. I think voting and things like that, so that you can have those new tools in games that you're creating. So we are expanding upon these tools all the time.
Dylan, something, Juno 006 shouted out something that you worked on, which was the new random numbers for the
Oh
player
yeah,
disguises.
that is new as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got that finally working the way it's supposed to, which is I find a games player here, get disguised. It now properly randomizes the numbers on the jumpsuits, and that'll work for both players as well as guards and NPCs as well.
Fun.
So if you're spawning those, you'll get random numbers and random cosmetics, which is super cool.
Very cool. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Okay. Are we good for some questions? Let's see. Someone is asking, what are our opinions on the Squid Game UFN islands currently? We were going to talk more about that kind of near the end of the ones that we've seen. I know Aiden was excited to talk about a few. Uh, what have you seen out there, Aiden?
Well, there's been a lot of cool ones. I mean, one of my personal favorites, if I can call it out, is is it Default or Die, I think is the title. I really like it. Doesn't use the Squid Game disguises itself, but the concept uses the disguise device, and it's just a
Mm,
really neat application of a social role playing game. Well, I don't know if it's social role playing as much as social deduction, where you
yeah.
sneak around and you have to find the default skins. But I really appreciate that they actually call out which skins you're looking for as well. So it's not just a super hard game. You can actually use some strategy. There's alerts that get fired after you do events that give the hunters kind of an idea where to go. I really think that's a great application of the disguise device, and it's a whole brand new kind of game genre that's been enabled by that. So it's super exciting to me.
Ooh, see, that's a great call, a great call out. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the tools have only been out for so long. We're curious to see how things are going to expand and evolve over time too. But if anybody has some shout outs for some awesome Squid Game islands that they have seen, please drop into chat. We would love to check them out. Um, oh, we have a good general question here that I think is would be fun for the team. Can you tell me what are things if I okay, what should I do if I wanted to become a game designer?
Vicky
Just
or me?
I don't
For
know.
all of you.
Just get
Sorry.
get in get yeah, start building stuff.
Yeah, start designing games.
Just go and start, like, you, I don't know. I assume that what you mean is, yeah, it is a big one. I assume that what you mean is that you would like to be a professional game designer and work in the industry and do what we do. But the truth is that I don't know. It's a job title, but it's also just something you can do. You can go and design games today. You don't have to have a job in it that's paid. It can be like an amazing hobbyist thing that can lead to professional work and growth. But you can go and start this today. Come and do it with us in UEFN. But no, seriously, like it's a really great springboard to start your game design journey. We give you a lot of things for free, as in like white box versions of things, so you don't have to do everything from scratch, and you can kind of dip your toes in through our devices that will give you a bit of a head start on some things, like just getting a character running around is something that we would give you straight out of the box, and you can focus on building up some of your game design chops in other areas, like designing mechanics, designing whole gameplay loops. Honestly, just get started today is my advice to you.
That's a great tip, and Vicky nailed it too, because it is free. Just jump in, check it out. We also have Fortnite Creative if you haven't heard of it before. That one is more entry level, we feel like, where it's easier to pick up and just go. You can do it from your console, which is really exciting. So Vicky's absolutely right. If you just start building something, no matter what type it is, if you're designing a game, designing an experience, no matter how small, no matter how I guess simple. Some of the best games are the most simple in design. So don't be afraid to just get started at all. That's absolutely correct.
I'm gonna add one thing, which is a thing I see commonly online. There's great guidance online if you want to learn how to do game design. If you're just starting out, something you might get confused about, especially if you want to be a game designer, is thinking that you should spend all your time designing in paper. If you're starting out, please don't do that. Don't waste time in paper. Pick a technology, an engine. UEFN is a great choice, or even creative, but just get in software and start building stuff. Don't waste time when you're starting out, like trying to build the ultimate design document, or even like, don't spend much time in paper. That's what I'll add. Yeah.
That's so funny, because thinking back when I was a kid, everything was done on paper, but it was way before computers were this good. And also before my house had a computer like that. So that's all I was doing. So it's a funny memory being brought up. I appreciate that, though.
Well,
yeah, or like even if you're doing a board game, like obviously then you'll be working in paper, but don't spend time on the dock. Spend time like, okay, make the cards and cut them out and start building something right away. So
yeah, I was going to say orthogonal to that, you can go to your closet of old board games, go get 3 board games, take all the components out, and make your own board game.
That's so smart.
You can flip a Scrabble tile upside down, and now you got squares to play with. If you play card games like Pokemon, you have those life counters. Maybe you can use those for things, and you go from there, and you can make your own game. And that's a great way to get started doing game design. And you can play test with your friends or with your family. Make sure you find the fun. Don't worry about right away about like what's your go-to-market strategy. Don't worry about that until you
don't worry about that right
you
away.
made a cool game. That's a great way to get started.
So cool.
Find the bit that you really love. Find the bit that you really love, and that's why we say go and build stuff, because you'll quickly find that out as you experiment, and like have it be a playful thing. Just find the thing that you really love and go deep on that.
Oh, Morphus Studio says, I think you should start building 3D models in games and you will just learn quickly. It'll just happen. Yeah, I mean, just kind of what is it? Applying yourself to whatever aspect you want to of a game or whatever. Like Vicky said, just find the one thing that you love and then really lean into that when it comes to it.
You'll also, like when you're starting out, you don't really understand all the disciplines. So even what you mentioned is a great point, but like people confuse level design with environmental art. And once you start out, you'll get a good grasp of what the difference between those two things is.
Yep.
Maybe you don't like modeling, but you still love level design. Like I'm a level designer, I'm a terrible modeler. So
yeah.
It's a hard one to explain. Yeah,
It
people
is.
still don't quite understand what I do. I say I'm a game designer, and they say, "Oh, do you draw the characters?" No. Do you do the programming? No. It's really hard to explain. I've still not cracked it after 16 years.
Yeah, no, and even just talking about like you were saying the a difference between level design and what was it? The aesthetics we were talking about? Was that it? Was it level design and specifically how you set up I forget the word I'm looking for right now, environment.
Yeah,
Um
environmental art.
yes, environmental art. Yeah, that in itself, it's the flow, right? It's more of like the flow of how it feels to run through and what you see rather than yeah, the specifics on the environmental art, which is interesting. Um, you could see like I don't know. I feel like Backrooms would be a good example, right? Where it's just the flow of the hallways and things like that. But then the design itself would be like how the walls look and what the lights look like and all that stuff. It's very interesting. Let's see. That's why we have Fab. Good shout out. Good shout out. Thanks, James. We love you too. Let's
While
see.
you're searching for another question, sorry, there's more stuff I forgot to call out, and I
Oh,
want to
please
make
go
sure I call
ahead.
it out.
Go
So the team
go.
that worked on it, but yeah, we also have Shove, which I can't believe I forgot. But Shove, especially for Squid Game, is just like so perfect.
Ooh, yeah.
I
Great.
think
Brutal.
yeah, it's great. We also have the coffin hiding prop or the gift box hiding prop. Um, we have the red light green light doll down there, which is not a device. It is we ship the skeletal mesh, but we also, and I think this was a first, right, Aiden, where we provided the control rig as well.
Yes, the first time we've ever provided a control rig directly to creators that wasn't part of a template. So it was a interesting exploration of technology there. And it's cool to see what people do with it. And hopefully it's easy to use because that's why we gave the control rig. So if it hasn't been easy to use, let us know. We'll try to find ways to improve that for everybody.
Yeah, please give us feedback. Oh, hi, Aiden. See you in there. Um, let's see. We've also got, yeah, we have a bunch of questions. How are islands selected for Netflix picks? I actually haven't seen Netflix picks yet. I didn't know that was a thing. Are there any plans to allow creators to submit maps which may have not gotten exposure but are unique and creative? Well, you can always submit islands to Epic's picks. And I think hopefully our mods have a link to the Epic's picks stuff. That would be in like the general links that we have in there. But you can always submit there if it's something that's unique and creative. That is exactly what we're looking for. Please do. I can't speak to Netflix picks because I'm not working on that specifically. The Netflix team is. But if you do have questions on that, feel free and drop it into our Discord and we can do the best we can to get a good answer for you after the stream. I don't want to forget. Let's see. Ooh, a great specifically technical question about carryable item device. Is there a specific scale requirement for the carryable item device? Anytime I carry something and try to throw it, it floats. Am I missing a setting?
There was one bug I am aware of where if you force it into the player's hands and then try to throw it, it would get stuck on the player capsule collision and sometimes float like that. So we fixed that bug. I don't remember if that was in this patch that just dropped today. So it could be that.
Mm.
Otherwise, no. Yeah, if you see bugs like that, best course of action is just make sure you post about them in the forums, and then we'll get eyes on them.
Yep, just head to our Epic developer community, the forums for Fortnite, and then in there you look for the issues and feedback, and you can drop stuff in there. And we'll definitely get on that. It automatically kind of goes right into the system. It's fantabulous. Let's see. Great question, and I appreciate the context because you already know. I don't know if you know, or I don't know if you can disclose this, but will there be any Squid Game characters coming down the road? Perhaps the doll. We can't, but we also don't have visibility in that. At least I do not have visibility in that. They are all kept secret from us
Got the
too
front
until
man
they're
today.
live.
That's cool.
Yeah, we did. We were just talking about that. You can definitely check out the front man. But yeah, we don't know. We don't know. We can't disclose. But I appreciate the question and also the context. Let's see.
Shane, I see a question about the gift box device. Is it by design that you can't
Yes.
use it while it's vertical? Yes, correct. It has a jump in animation. So if it was vertical, it might look a little strange. But I'll keep in mind that you brought that up. Building your own, like when you're working out of UE, you're building your own game almost entirely from base APIs or frameworks that have been provided to you by, Epic Games or by other companies that you might want to use for third-party software. When you come into UEFN, we give you more than just a framework. We give you a lot of these devices, tutorials. We have a specific system that you work inside of. We have Verse, We don't expose blueprints. So there's a lot of tools that don't have overlap, but all of the level editing, asset creation, all of that side of it is a one-to-one between the two. So if you are interested in learning how to build maps, then UEFN and UE, that skill set will transfer. You could go and practice in UEFN, and you'll automatically have like a third-person character movement game that you can use to play around in that environment. So it's going to depend what you want to look for. If you want to focus on how to get better with the map creation tools, I'd suggest starting in UEFN. You can play around with terrain building, specking out how to make gray box levels or how to make full-fledged levels, use foliage tools. You can even use metahumans in UEFN, and a lot of that is a lot easier to use out of when you're working out of UEFN. But if you want to make your own game from scratch, and maybe break some of the rules that Fortnite has, like we have our third-person camera, we have our first-person camera. If you wanted to kind of go against some of those rules, starting in UE would be maybe better for you in that environment.
Great answer. Thank you so much. This one's kind of just want to get this one out of the way because it's a little off topic, but can Epic make a YouTube video on every release to the new regarding the new items? That's great feedback. I know sometimes we have things like that, but I will absolutely share that with our social team because I think that would be super cool if we would be able. Let's see. I think we've got some questions about Verse on the horizon. We've got one more about will Squid Game content on UEFN expand or just have the current content? I think, did we talk about if there was anything more coming at the start? I forget.
We didn't talk about that,
didn't.
and
Okay.
yeah, we haven't currently kind of released any plans around that, so I don't know if we can talk about that on this stream, unfortunately. But if there's something that you would like to see, please leave us feedback and comments on and how we could help you expand it further, basically, and we'll see what we can do.
Awesome. Thanks, Vicky, for the insight. Did we want to jump into the verse before we take the rest of the questions, or how y'all feeling? Should we go through more?
Yeah, we could jump to verse for a bit and then come back if there's anything else we haven't answered.
Oh, we still have quite a few. I just want to make sure we get to. Let's see. We've got a couple verse, so I'll leave that for then. We already answered this question, but I'll throw it again. What are your opinions on the state of Squid Game Islands currently, and how do you think people have been using the new amazing tools? Earlier in the stream, Aiden was talking about a really cool island that they've seen, and then we'll have a few more conversations about that later on in the stream. But we also asked chat, and chat gave a few good ones. It looks like yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, we got Squid Game Pillars. Refocused is really good. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, if anyone's seen any cool islands, please drop them in chat for others to check out. Because we're really curious to hear what you all have to say. You are all the ones that are on the ground floor. You're using the tools. You're looking for insight and inspiration. So I'm sure you're seeing some really cool ones out there. But as far as us, we're really excited what we're seeing so far, but we can't wait to see how the tools that are kind of interchangeable are also going to expand in the universe as well. So there's a lot of different aspects that we're looking at. If you are creating a really unique and creative island, sorry if I'm looking at the side, it's because I'm looking at y'all's questions. If you are creating a really cool and unique island, please do submit to Epic's Picks. You can check that out in our Discord server. We have a submission channel, and if you check that, the directions for submitting to Epic's Picks are there. So make sure and do that. Let's see. How will you be supporting Squid Game Islands that feature new and unique mini games? I've already created 3 new ones in addition to existing games using the provided assets. I would say absolutely. Please submit those. Submit those to Epic's Picks. We would love to see those. Or if you just want to share them with us in the Squid Game showcase within the official Discord server, please do, because we will be keeping an eye out there. See, has the disguise device not been applied while having no empty oh yeah. Has the disguise device not being applied while having no empty inventory slots been fixed today? Fencer will know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't think it's been fixed. I'll talk to Dylan about it after this meeting, though. We'll look at that.
Thank you. Let's see. Is red light, green light mechanics set up working that can be okay? Is it already set up and working, and can it be placed into any island? We talked about that briefly.
You mean in the templates or the dolls specifically?
Yeah, do you mean in the templates? I assume in the
I can.
templates because then they can just copy and paste, but I don't know.
Yeah, no. So no, in the template we didn't actually set up any of the mini games from the show because we knew you guys would definitely have a stab at those. And we were instead focusing on some different mechanics. So no, in the templates we don't have a red light, green light sort of setup for you to just sort of drag and drop, as it were. But as we were saying earlier, we do have the control rig available for you to set that up. We have got a demo of there's a little surprise in one of the tutorial rooms where you climb up a ledge and then the red light, green light doll was there and she turns her head at you. A bit of a scary surprise. But no, we don't have the game itself set up.
Cool, cool. Good to know. Let's see. Oh, will it be possible to apply custom characters with the disguise device?
Ooh, not yet,
Not yet. Well, if
but
you've got, yeah, if
would
you
it be
want that, share
I
with
don't
us.
know.
Share with us. Give us that feedback.
Just
Yeah,
jumping
yeah,
back
that
to
would be
the
interesting.
sorry, I had to check, but yeah, the disguise not
Oh,
applying when you don't have inventory slots. Unfortunately, it didn't make it into this patch, but you can look for a fix for that in an upcoming release. So
thank you, thank you. Is there a way to dress your own personal metahuman up as the frontman guard? Interesting.
I can comment
Yeah,
on that a little bit.
go ahead.
So you can dress up metahumans, but in general, when working with any of the IP program assets, Squid Game, Walking Dead universe, TMNT, you should try your best not to duplicate or reuse any assets that we do not provide. So since we do not provide you like the trench coat or the mask of the front man, you should avoid trying to use that. Otherwise, you risk, moderation taking your island down or having an IP infringement occur. I know it's a sad answer. So the answer would be technically you can dress up your own metahuman, but you should not dress them up as the front man for right now at least.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, this is a great question. Have you seen any new genres emerge that you think Squid Game tool might be a great fit for? Ooh, because it would be um deduction, betrayal,
Yeah, definitely
disguises.
those. Yeah. Yeah, definitely those. And we already called out yeah, one island that did that well that was Default or Die, and it felt like an evolution of the prop hunt kind of genre of games in a way. And it was sort of that with a bit of Among Us as well. So definitely social deduction, I would say. Those kinds of really mean Squid Game moments where they betray one another. It just feel really well suited to that sort of gameplay. So I would say mostly those, and mini games, of course, because there's a lot of mechanics that support that, like the wonderful carryballs device, because it's just so versatile. You could, I don't know if you all know this or not, but you can put any static mesh that you want into. Tell me if I'm using the wrong term, Stellan. Sorry. You can put any static mesh into the device that you want, and I have seen people doing this and creating really interesting games out of that. You could have a key that you carry from place to place to open a lock. You could, weigh something down or just I don't know, create all kinds of almost like Zelda dungeon puzzles with that one. And it just feels that one in
Yeah.
particular almost internally we were joking that it feels almost like its own little game engine because there's so many customization options on that one. And so if there were any devices that we released for Squid Game and to the wider ecosystem that would spawn new genres, I would think it would be the Carabal's device or the Disguise device that would be powering those, in my opinion.
Very cool. Yeah. Great call out, Vicky.
I've seen them in the chat, the folks who made Genesis Squid Game, which is a very good island, but I did want to call out something that I really like is when people mix camera types. And there's a
Ooh.
moment in Genesis Squid Game where if you rebel, it switches into first person. And I think
Ooh.
Fortnite looks beautiful in first person, especially when you use the ballistic weapons. And so that moment to me was like amazing. And to see all of the Squid Game assets in first person and you're battling your way out, I really like that kind of genre-defying change there, where you use the theme of the assets to actually dive into a whole new way to play the game. And I think that's a really great moment in that island. And I guess spoilers, I should have said that at the beginning. Sorry.
No, you're good. Oh, that's a super great call out. Hi everyone, welcome. Let's see. We answered this earlier, but I don't want to make sure and touch on it. I actually have a question. In India, some people are saying learning programming. Some people are saying learn 3D animation first. So if you become a game designer, can you help me? We were just talking about this earlier, so definitely check out the VOD, because we went into great detail. But the summary was just kind of get in, just do it, do whatever aspect you feel most comfortable with. What are you excited about? Just kind of start playing around with tools is our advice. A great tool, just throwing it out there, is Unreal Editor for Fortnite or Fortnite Creative, just because it's pretty beginner friendly. So you can kind of jump in and just play around with things. There's a lot of templates we already have built in and stuff that you can just mess around with different settings and things to kind of create what is it called? Feedback loops and things like that. So definitely take a look at that. But yeah, really it's just get started. But check out the VOD afterwards because we talked about that for quite a bit. Okay, we got a technical question. If you set your environment damage to off, can you still have props in your island that are destructible? It's okay also if we don't know that.
So I think the answer to that is no.
Okay.
And you have to do the inverse. You can mark each object as indestructible and have the ones you want to be destroyable not have indestructible. It's a lot more piece by piece work there, but that's the way that you can do it.
Cool. Let's see. We're gonna get into verse in a bit. Is there any plans to make IP collaborations and discover multiple rows as we're seeing Fall Guys and Rocket Racing and more collabs? It could be more fun. If that's something, it's hard. Definitely share the feedback. We have heard the feedback of more rows. We've also heard the feedback of having different types of genres and more discover rows in general. Please do keep sharing that feedback that you'd like to see. And then I know they had their own tab too, so that could also be helpful. But yeah, if there's anything that you're missing or you wish to see, please share that feedback in our forums or with our creator success managers that you see on our Discord. We would love to gather that and make sure we have it in there. I think we've seen it before, but definitely keep throwing that out there. On any idea when Avatar Last Airbender items will be on UFN. So that hasn't been announced yet, but we are definitely working on it. We did just have that IP program Let's Chat a few months ago, all about how that process works. You can definitely check that out if you haven't. But no word yet on the timing for The Last Airbender, but we are also very excited. Oh, here's a good one. Do you guys spend most of your days working on being creative and innovating stuff? And do you have any personal islands you recommend checking out? Oh,
That was a two-parter. Like, how do we spend
I
most of our day?
guess. Yeah. How do you spend most of your day being developers? Like, are you just being creative all day and innovating on things?
It's going to be different for each of us, I reckon.
Yeah.
For me, my role is really about connecting people, and sometimes it's what I was talking about at the start and helping define the creative vision, and a lot of research and talking to people about what's important about the opportunity, and then I'll go and talk to Dylan and Aidan and be like, can we build this? Okay, let's figure it out and how. But most of my day is somewhere in between being creative and just communication, connecting people, and facilitating just how we bring all these great tools and IP content to you guys. So yeah, a bit of both, but it's going to be different for everyone.
Absolutely.
I'd say on my side, I'm probably in the middle between. I mean, not to say you're not creative, Aiden, of course. But yeah, and I mentioned this before about like you'll start to learn what all the different design roles are because it's not just designer. As a technical designer, I get to I get to do a bit of the fun game design, super creative stuff. But a lot of my time is spent in editor, more coming up with creative solutions for how to build stuff and how to solve problems.
Yeah, and then oh, sorry, I was just
go
gonna
ahead,
say, and
Vicky,
then
go
I go
ahead.
in and I go in and like prototype silly test levels and stuff with your with what you build. So there's a nice symbiosis with us. But go ahead, Aidan. Sorry.
Yeah, to use a fake buzzword, we innovent things. There you go. We invent and we innovate. No,
Whoa,
a good
whoa.
example of that, though, I mean, in reality, is like if you look at the carryable spawner device. I mean, carrying was a thing, something that sort of already existed in Fortnite. So we innovented it into a brand new device that allowed you guys to unlock all sorts of new behavior. So sometimes it's about being creative, sometimes it's about innovating on something that exists, and sometimes it's about inventing something that's in between, that's a little bit creative, a little bit innovative, but sometimes it uses existing behavior to go from point A to point B. My day-to-day, I try to enable my designers to get cool stuff done, but I'm also, trying to fix hard problems. I'd love to say creative solutions. Sometimes they're not that creative. For example, brand rules can always be a problem for you, for the creators. There was a thread about not being able to use renders of the guards, for example. So I'm trying to find out solutions of how we can resolve that for you all, so you can make the games that you want to make without being blocked by brand rules in those environments. So sometimes it's creative solutions to very straightforward problems that might be a bit tedious but are important to solve, but a little bit more nitty gritty than how do I throw things fast that Dylan gets to solve sometimes.
We love creative solutions, don't we, team? Don't we, community? We do. Um, let's see, solving bugs. Yeah, definitely also solving bugs. I dropped that Discord link in there for you. That was a great question, though. Thank you so much. If you all have any other great questions for our team here, we've got a pretty diverse team who's worked on a lot for UAFN. So definitely let us know. Let's see. Any news on custom item devices? Don't worry, team, I got this. Don't worry. If there is any news about custom item devices, we will definitely publish it. Keep your eyes peeled. Check on our socials, keep an eye out on our blogs. If we do have something to share there, we will definitely share it. You can also shout out here to Immature. I saw you in chat, Immature, and let's see, Mustard Play, Squatting Dog. We've got a few creators that definitely share things out on social media about what they see and hear, that we've shared out. So if you're following or friends with any of them, I'm sure you'll see something. But just keep your eyes peeled. Nothing new that we can share here today. But yeah, just make sure you're following all the right channels and you're staying in the know, because we are working hard on those things for you, and we will keep you updated as things move forward. Let's see. When do you think when do you think UFN will allow playtest sessions to be local like UE? I don't know if anyone here can speak to that. That is a good question. If you want something like that, make sure you're sharing that feedback. If it exists in the forums, make sure you're upvoting it so we know what things you guys want the most. I have heard of that feedback before, so it must be in there. So definitely make sure you're upvoting. Let's see. While using UFN, has any thought been put into improving the ability to search for props and assets? Looking for buildings, you get an endless list of items, searching help. Yes, that has been thought of. We have that feedback. Same thing I'll say to you. If you do really want that, make sure you go on our forums, search up something. If it's there, please upvote, because I have seen that before. The more votes the thing has, the more it does help us prioritize what your needs and wants are. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. Is there a way to turn? Ooh, I don't know what this is. Is there a way to turn this on and off along with day sequence, or once turned off is always off? Would be great to be able to turn on and turn off time of day manager. I'm not sure what this is referring to. Sorry, whoever wrote the question. But yeah, if you add a little more context, I think we might be able to answer that. And then sounds like we might have there's a minor issue with the gift box where it would say that someone was occupying it and preventing any further use. Has that been fixed in a recent update? Or is that being fixed? Do we know? Have we seen that bug?
I'll have to follow up on that one.
Okay. Fencer's got it. He's on it for us. Are there any plans?
I see something about view models for UI.
Yes.
We are trying to work on getting one built for the voting device. That should make it easier to represent that. I can't speak about it too much right now, but that's in development. So for those of you who are fans of the voting device, we're trying to find a way to make that easier to use and a little better looking for when you interact with it.
Awesome. Thank you. Will you add more Squid Game props? We talked about this a little bit earlier. If there are more things that you all want, please share that feedback. We've got the team in the Discord server. We've got feedback in the forums. Please, please, please share it. The more we know, the more we're able to prioritize what you all want. Are we allowed to use the Squid Game doll inside of the NPC device? Wow, that would be wild.
So I might have to turn this over to Dylan. If you are using the doll that we provide for anything, that's fine. But can you actually use it to build a custom character for the NPC? That's where I need Dylan to fill in the gaps there.
And we give you the skeletal mesh, right, and the control rig.
Yeah.
So don't quote me on this, but yeah, as long as you have the skeletal mesh, that should be all you need for that.
There you go.
I think so. I think so, but I could be wrong.
Sure. No, I'm pretty sure that was one of the reasons that we wanted to do the control rig, I think, because we were thinking, oh, people are going to make like backrooms games where like she's going to be chasing you down the dark corridors, and it's going to be terrifying because Squid Game's just such a good fit for horror. So I feel like yes, question mark.
Thank you. Yes, we would love that. Is it let's see. Is it possible to get the explosion VFX from the new precision airstrike weapon? I appreciate you flagging that as off topic, Silent FNC. Thank you. I don't know if it's possible yet, but if it's something you want, I imagine that's something that people would probably eventually want. I don't know. I don't know the rules on this. I don't know the rules about explosion VFX. Don't quote me. But that sounds like it would be satisfying if it did that. Oh, cool. Good question. In UFN, when you're not sure what to build, what's one thing you can do to get your creative mind working? I've been trying for the past 3 days to come up with something. That's a great question for chat. Chat, if you have any advice for this person, I'm not sure what to build. What do you do to get your creative mind working? Please share and also throw it to the team. We've got so many good development questions today. I really love that. We've got some really good nuggets of information we've all been sharing from the team today. So, yeah, anyone have any advice on how to get your creative mind working?
I'm happy to talk about that a little bit, ramble on that topic.
Yeah.
You can be inspired by anything. Some people might say, like, go and play some games. But actually, I find that a lot of my best ideas come from outside of games. Whether it's a book I'm reading, whether it's an album that I'm obsessed with, maybe it's just some encounter I've had in the real world, and I'm like, oh, that would be really interesting in a video game experience. And I don't know if I've ever played that before. So yeah, I don't know. I would say that inspiration can come from anywhere. If you're stuck in your medium, then maybe look outside of it. See if there's something else you can do to get inspired. You could just have some brainstorming kind of conversation with a friend, and just think around things that are interesting to you and how would you gamify that. Yeah, reach out to other creative folks, be inspired by outsider games, but you can be inspired by other games too. There's always, sometimes you go in and play something and you think, wow, that mechanic's amazing, and I would improve it this way. And then that can be a fun way to get started as well. Yeah, inspiration is from anywhere, for me at least.
Now that I'm thinking about it, Vicky, actually, I mean, that's exactly what I would have said too. So I'm happy you said that because that got me excited because I was like, I don't know if I'm off base here. But when I think about it, all like my favorite games or some of the most successful game loops of all time came from what I would believe to be movie ideas and things like that. So that's really interesting. But also, yeah, sometimes it's as simple as like you were saying, Vicky, a great album as well. If there's music that really excites you, and some people, really tap into music in a different way and it can get different parts of the brain going too. So that's a great point. I love that. What about Dylan and Aiden? Any other advice from you all for creativity in your life that you suggest?
I was gonna say just go for a walk. That's what I do.
Good one. Yeah.
But also just like, yeah, don't be afraid to follow what you're curious about. Like, you wonder like how something would look or how something would feel. Or yeah, like you play another game or you read something else and you're like, I wonder what that would look like in a game. Yeah, just like kind of get rid of all the stuff in your head that's kind of like counteractively says, nah, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't be fun, and just like spend some time just like goofing off and sketching. And yeah, literally in level design, it's called sketching, where you're just like dropping down rough shapes and, you know, kind of sketching out a level and seeing what works and what doesn't. And yeah, don't worry about polish. Just try out ideas.
I think we had a fantastic live stream about that. I think it was one of the first ones we ever did in creating in Fortnite, for those of you here who might not have seen it way back when. But we did a level design one with Samuel Bass, and in it we just kind of, he dropped down shapes really, really fast. He was rapid prototyping. That was it. So definitely search that one up if you haven't. That one's great. But I love seeing all the support in chat for each other. Thank you all for sharing. Inspiration happens, but it has to find you working. Good point. Good point. Music and movies, watching movies can definitely spark an idea, and you can build off those little inspirations. Absolutely. Watching from Nepal. Welcome, Sayal. Yeah, one other last point I would say is to make sure you're taking care of yourself. I know that sounds silly, but like self-care, make sure you're eating, you're drinking water, you're staying hydrated, you're moving your body. Like Dylan was saying, go taking a walk. Things like that is really important, because if the side of your brain that is too stressed out, or like not getting enough water, not getting enough sleep, not getting enough food, if that one is struggling, it's hard for us to actually tap into the creative side of our brain technically. So make sure you're also doing that as well, as basic as that sounds.
Yeah, whoever in chat said motivation finds you working, 100%. Motivation will come when you're not worried about it or thinking about it at all. So like I said, on a walk or doing something else, reading a book, or it'll show up like as you're working in progress. It's never really going to show up as you're sitting there being like, oh, I need to figure out what to build. If you're doing that, probably not. So either hop in the engine and goof around, or just like step away. Those are the two best ways to do it.
Absolutely. Jiggly, it's talking with creators for me and learning more. That's where I get my ideas. Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's like Vicky was saying. Talk with more creative people in your circles, or even joining more creative groups outside of gaming circles too, in your local area, and just meeting new people who are creative. You'll never know what'll come out of that. It's very cool. Awesome, awesome. Okay, cool. Oh gosh, we have so many questions. How are we doing, team, on what we want to cover? Do we want to jump to anything else before? Or did we pretty much go over everything? Are we good?
I got a couple quick burst callouts we could go through quickly.
Okay, yeah. And then we'll
just
finish
quick
up our
ones.
Q&A.
Yeah. Also in the background, sorry, I was just quickly adding the doll to the NPC spawner to make sure it worked, and it
Nice.
does work. I mean, I don't have it up and running totally, but yeah, you can definitely
Yay.
create a custom character and assign the doll. So it should work. So yeah, excited to see what y'all do with that. Yeah, so this patch this morning, I just wanted to call out 2 items that got added in verse, just so you don't lose them. So the first is with the disguise device. So if you've used this, if you use this device, you would have already seen in creative we have the events for any disguise. So the way this works is when you apply disguise to the player, it's linked to that device. So you can apply and remove the disguise from the device. But we also provide these any events and functions that allow you to check for a disguise that came from any device, but also the disguise kits, which is super powerful. So if you want to build a game where players can put on disguises with a disguise kit, but you want to react to when it gets broken or when it gets removed, you can use the any events. So we had those already on creative. But what got added this morning was the verse companion events to that. So you can listen for a break disguise event, which is going to be specific to that device, or you can bind to break any disguise event, which means anytime a disguise in the island breaks, whether or not it's from device or disguise kit, you'll get that event. And the same with the generic one, you'll also get the instigating agent if it exists. So if someone shot you and that's what broke your disguise, that will be passed along. So yeah, that's new and that's exciting. We finally got that in. So we have that for break, remove, and we also have kind of the generic query here as well. Is any disguise applied? So that's the first thing I wanted to call out. And then the second thing that got added was, spoilers. for the carryable spawner device. And again, this is something that already existed on the device in Creative, which is this on hit by collision. So if a player or an agent is hit by the carryable, this event will fire. So we now have the verse version of that, which if I can find it here, event, I think is what it's called. Sorry.
Oh, we're getting some love for verse. At hashtag said verse is so cool. I learned with no experience in 3 months. They did see the clear brackets on the VFX device is still not added though. Sad face. Not the sad face.
Yeah. Yeah, so this one's brand new today. Agent collide event. So this is the first implementation of that. Agent got hit by a carryable event. So this will fire as soon as it collides with an agent. It'll fire even if you have impact damage set to 0. And it returns this new type called carryable spawner agent impact result, which will have the person who was hit, the person who instigated that hit. So you can think of that as like the person who threw it at the other player. The damage, if it applied damage, it will pass the damage along as well. And then finally, this impacted from throw, I think hopefully will be really useful. So this describes whether or not the impact was a direct result of being thrown, or if it was from like bouncing off a wall or rolling down a hill. So if you want to make a dodgeball game and it only counts if you get a direct hit, you can just check that this is true and only proceed if this is true. So yeah, those are the 2 new verse APIs that got added with the patch this morning for the Squid Game devices. Not just Squid Game, available everywhere, but yeah.
Yay. Thank you so much, Dylan. Thank you. Someone else said it's been fun learning verse. Well, that's so good. I'm so glad to hear that. Fantastic. Definitely check out that everything new that we've added. We added so much today for Squid Game tools. If you missed some of it, we talked about it a lot at the beginning. But I'll definitely make sure and add some timestamps there for those of us who are checking back later. Let's see. I know we're getting more questions. So like more things be added. At this time we haven't announced anything, but definitely if there's things that you want to see from Squid Game, definitely share that feedback for us in our forums and on our Discord server. The more feedback you share, the louder you are, the more that we're able to prioritize that and share that with the team and give it a go, you know? Let's see.
I've got an open question here, Shane. For the
Yeah, go
community,
ahead.
we
Yes.
added the dynamic teams, so you could use emotes to make temporary alliances, but I have not seen it used very much yet. So I was going to say, if anybody's seen it get used, I'd love for them to shout it out and we can go check it out. Or even more importantly, if you guys have feedback on how we can make that feature more usable or more obvious, we'd love to hear your ideas on that feature because it's a really exciting feature, but it's a little bit hidden, and we want to improve it as we go. So make sure that you check that feature out. It's available on the island settings. You can just enable dynamic team emotes, and suddenly you'll be able to emote and make friends. Even comes with custom Squid Game emotes. The little X if you use it in Squid Game versus if you use it not in Squid Game. So it's pretty cool. I just love to see. I'd love to get some feedback on that when you guys have a chance to check it out.
Yeah, Aiden, could you tell us a little more? Because I saw that on the blog and I haven't seen it in use much either. Specifically, like what happens, what is the like flow of that tool?
Yeah, so it's just a setting. You just have to enable it in island settings, and you can override it per team on the team settings and inventory device if you want. If you want to kind of use it a little bit more control. But what it lets you do is it lets you go up to another player who's on a different team, and you could do an emote. It'll be on the manage team section of the emote wheel, and you can do like in Squid Game it does the little this thing right, and I do upside down. I can't remember, and then we do a little touch. And in non-Squid Game, I think it's just a high five. It does a little heart, and then you'll be magically switched to that other player's team. So,
wow.
for example, some of the ways I'll tell you we were hoping to see it. That's okay that this hasn't happened. I won't do disappointed dad to everybody here, but is that, for example, on Glass Bridge, you could ally with people and have the shove weapon, and then as you're going across the bridge, you wouldn't be able to get betrayed. You can make a temporary alliance there, but then at any point you can go, by the way, it's over. and you could push them off. So you could already do the pushing part, but the idea behind this was that you could make those allegiances a little bit more real, although temporary at the same time. That way you can actually disable friendly fire and then make some interesting moments where you actually you could trust them enough to not shoot you, and there's a little bit of a visual cue when the damage is about to fall down on you. So it's an interesting feature I'd love to see people use more of, and please give feedback on that. You can, as Shayna said, there's lots of ways to give feedback. If you want to even just tell me directly in the Discord channels for the IP Tools chat or the Squid Game chat, that's great too. I'll send that directly to the team. We want that feature to be as good as it can be for everybody.
Thank you so much for the detail on that. Yeah, because we got people in chat excited to see. Dynamic teams reminds me of Chapter 2, Season 6 LTM, where player had to escape the island by making teams. Very
That's
cool.
a good. I wonder where we got it from.
I'm
an
so
Innovent
excited.
moment there. Innovent.
Yeah, make sure. Yeah, I'm curious to see. I do see there's some, I think the problem with dynamic teams, it can break custom logic. Admittedly, need to do more testing with it. Yes, please do. If you see something, please let us know. Like Aiden was saying, we want to make it the best that we can. And please test till you break it. Figure out what needs to be done, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be added, what you really want to see. The more you play with these tools, the more we can and give us that feedback, the more we can get you what you need to make the experiences you want to. I've seen it in some islands, but I haven't tried it myself. Oh, interesting, Grim. The concept is cool. Join in progress stability is important. So there's a little concern about that. Does it affect join in?
It shouldn't necessarily, because you'd join in and then you would use it. But there are various join in progress issues in Fortnite. So if you see any of them, call them out. We'll try to fix them. And we've been working on compatibility with other devices for dynamic teams as we go. So any other thing that's not supported, you can go ahead and call that out too, and we'll make sure to get it on the list of things to make work.
We do have a question about if we have documentation on dynamic teams. I have the Squid Game tool documentation up. I know I saw this section down here about it. Mods, if you could share the documentation link, that would be amazing. What I'm looking for, yeah, I thought I saw a section on it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Gotcha. Here, I'll shoot this your way. Dynamic team emotes. There you go, everyone. So you can take a better look at that if it's something you'd like to check out. But knowing what it can do, imagine all the things that you could do. Dynamic Team is great for a Hunger Game style game. Ooh, there's so many different things. I mean, also, y'all, you have the capability of making your own IP, making your own world. Go crazy with it. And I did see a question earlier. Let's see, it was about that you want to make story-driven games, but you're worried that it won't be as popular. If we have any advice, honestly, from what I've seen and from what I know from the team, I think our biggest advice there is, if you want to make something for the love of it or for the creativity of it or to get the experience, please, please, please don't feel, held back just by that. I think as far as game development goes, as far as what most developers would tell you, I think a lot of us create games because we love it and we're also gamers and we want to give people a great experience. And it sounds like that's exactly what you want to do. I think at the end of the day, if you've made something you're really proud of as a story-driven game, and maybe you don't get as many players as one that has a quicker loop or a more addicting loop or something like that, and that, the case of, what keeps us just, hitting the next round after round after round because we're excited about it. I think that you can still take what you've made, this beautiful thing, and be able to show that off to people, right? You can take that experience, and when you're applying at places, or you want to build a studio, or you're looking to grow a team, or maybe you want to go and start building your own thing, you will have that thing that you made in UEFN or Fortnite Creative to be able to show off to people and be proud of. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of benefits to just making something for the sake of the creativity and what it would give you in other ways, not just player count. Because I know, at least from a lot of my game developer friends, there's a lot of people that spun off and made their own studios and things like that. And it's hard. It's really hard out there, especially if you don't have a base like we have on the Fortnite side. I think they'll pour their heart into a game that they're just very proud of because they want to see that game made. And sometimes, it blows up the world and it's amazing and everyone loves it. And sometimes it goes hidden and it's just kind of luck of the draw. So at the end of the day, I think to be a game developer, you have to do it for the love and passion of what you're doing and being proud of yourself. But does anyone else have any advice? Sorry, that was a long answer.
No, that was a really beautiful answer, honestly. I just wanted to +1 that and so that like making games and these experiences and story games and even combat games and all it's just an art form at the end of the day. We live in a world that's so much about like the likes you get, the players you get, or the money you make, or how productive you are, or whatever. But like we forget sometimes the artistry in making games, and there's something just so beautiful and just using this amazing medium to tell a story that someone can put themselves in and experience like your voice, your thoughts, your kind of take on or your perspective on something through this art form. Basically, we forget that it's an art form sometimes, and I think you should do it and not care about how. Well, no, sometimes we have to care about how things do. I know the commercial side of art. I know, I totally get that, but I think you should do it anyway. And put out your voice and your creation into the world and see what happens. Sometimes you never know, something might surprise you and take off if you've really poured your heart into it. Who knows what could happen, you know?
Absolutely. I think of the experiences like when you asked that question about story-driven games, I was like, oh, those are my favorite because they make me feel something. And then I never forget those games. You know, they made me emotional or they made me sad or they made me happy or proud. And even if it doesn't get like tons of numbers, just know, I mean, I know there have been games that have been winning awards lately, and you know, like Baldur's Gate 3 is a great example, I think, where they put so much into the story and how it made people feel. And, you know, it was such a long process and all that stuff, but it really paid off in the end for them in a world where, like you're saying, Vicky, it feels like, you know, people are just looking for the numbers and the likes and the things like that. So I think definitely I want to encourage you because maybe one day you end up making a story driven game that we all love and it makes us feel something. So don't give up just on that for sure.
What else is life about but human connection at the end of the day?
That's right. That's right. Well, we have so many questions. Y'all, this is a popular stream. We got a good 40 minutes left. So let's see what we can kind of get through here. Will there ever be a custom player animation device? That is a great question. I think definitely keep asking for that if that's something you would all want. There's so many things involved when it comes to building tools for something like UEFN. Sometimes there's limitations that are out of our control, so I can't really speak to it since I am ignorant to that. But if that's something that you all really want, make sure and share that feedback. I know the team is working really hard on those items and devices that are on the roadmap already. But the more that you share that you need to create the experience that you want to, the more we'll be able to prioritize that based on what we can, what we have. Will we get custom round windscreens? And can we put a widget in there instead of a default round system windscreen? Has anyone heard anything about us working towards anything like that by chance? Or have we considered it? I don't know. It's okay if not.
I know that there's some customizable options in there, but I'm not aware of any plans currently to make that more customizable. I do know that what a lot of creators will do on popular islands is not use the primary round system and kind of build their own, and then you can customize around. You can do a round victory screen after that if you'd like.
Ooh.
So you build your own round system, and then you can go
Yes.
from there.
I have seen those too. That's a great call out, Aiden. If anyone has seen a great round system on an island, please share in chat. We'd love to know if you made one yourself.
Well, actually, Shane, I'll do a shout out here on the snippets repository. One of the top posts is a Fort round gameplay interface for scene graph components. So definitely, if you haven't checked out the snippets repository, people post all sorts of interesting things there, and you can find some really great ways to get started or some awesome stuff. Like I'm looking here. Here's a procedural generator device. You know, oh, look at this. Thomas Winkley from the Lego group made a Lego quest system with NPC behaviors. So you can go ahead and check that out. There's all sorts of really great getting started snippets. Not even getting started, fully complete deliverables that are on the snippets repository for Verse. If you want to check that out. So if you're if you're getting started with Verse or you just want to start with a running start, check out that snippet repository. There's lots of cool stuff there.
Thank you, Aiden. That's a great call out. I just shared it in chat for everyone with the link. So definitely take a look. Snippets, I think, get overlooked on EDC, and you definitely should check it out. A lot of stuff just sitting there waiting to be plucked. I'm gonna cover this again. We've covered it a few times. Will there be any more Squid Game stuff? We haven't announced anything yet, but if there's stuff that you want, please share that feedback in the forums. Please do, please do. Are we getting any new audios to use? I don't think anything that we're able to share that we know of at this time, but again, share feedback if that's something you would really like.
If you
I
like
guess-
the Squid Game audio,
Yeah.
tell us that, because
Yeah.
I
Oh,
liked doing
yeah.
it, and it was very fun. So make your requests, let us know, and then I'll pass it to Vicky because she was going to say something too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, now I was just going to call out. I don't know if everyone saw that we added some audio, and that's what you were talking about there, Aidan. I guess that we added some voiceovers to use in your games. We didn't do that with the original release of the tools because the timing wasn't working out, but we did add that a few patches later, and all of that's available today. We've got some really cool voiceovers for use in your own Squid Game takes and mini games in both English and Korean. So yeah, feel free to put that in and let us know if you want some more and what you want.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Oh, we've got a few we've asked a couple times. Are there plans to allow island creators use persistent data between their maps? We've heard that feedback. Definitely keep sharing it. Keep upvoting that. We definitely have heard that. I don't think anything's been said, but we have heard your feedback there. Will there be Squid Game devices? There are devices. Definitely go check out the update. Check out what we have in there. Where's the best place for them to find all that, team, for the new Squid Game content? The templates. The templates.
Yeah, the templates are a really great way to look through that. I guess we haven't gone over those today, but
Oh,
if you've
yeah.
not yeah, if you've not seen those, that we've got two gameplay ones. One that's really focused on mini games, and the structure of each of them is that there's a bit of a tutorial that will explain the device, and then at the end, we actually built a mini game for you to dig in and see how we used it to set something up. And we did that for all of the Squid Game devices that also went out to all of the ecosystem as well. So yeah, I would say that's a really good place to start. Just go in, load it up, and see what we did, and that will comprehensively cover kind of everything that's in the GFS.
Awesome. Thank you. Not sure if
And
it's a thing. Oh, go ahead.
I see a question. Can we
Yeah.
use music from the show in the games?
Ooh.
You've seen some maps doing that. So this is actually a nuanced question. Uh, Music licensing is very complicated. So while we were not able to
True.
provide like the title music for the game, that means you also shouldn't use the title music because that's not something that's open source or Creative Commons. Some of the music they do use in the show is music you can find licensed under the Creative Commons or other such licenses. So while I can't universally say that you can or you cannot, if you have a song in mind, you can look it up on the internet and see if it has a Creative Commons or other public use license. And then you can add that as your attributions when you publish your island, and then you'll be allowed to use that music. So you should do that check for various pieces of content you think might be Creative Commons. It's a great way to go. I actually remember going through that with somebody on the Discord chat about figuring out where to find that music, and we found one of the songs that was Creative Commons. So definitely go explore that. Music licensing is a very interesting beast. So be cautious there. Maintain good use of your licenses there, but we'll keep that in mind for future releases as well.
I got a question with the team up feature. I'm not sure if this is already a feature or not, but a cool idea would be limiting the amount of people on a team. Is that something that's possible? Do we know?
I believe it respects team sizes. I have to double check, but if you have a team size of 4, I don't think you'll be able to add more than 4 people to the team. I'd have to review it. So it should respect team sizes.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
All right. I would like to create trailers for my UEFN islands, but Sequencer doesn't allow exporting MP4 files directly to my PC. Will this option ever be available in an Unreal Engine's sequencer? I do believe we are aware that people want to do that. But please make sure check out the forums and see if that's something that is already located in our feedback. If it is, please upvote that. Because I know there's other things that we're working on to kind of help with that. I don't know if it's specific to Sequencer, if it has to do with MP4 files exporting and things like that, but please make sure that feedback is out there. And the best place to share that would be the forums. Let's see. We can't answer questions about moderation here just because this team doesn't deal with moderation. But definitely make sure there was a moderation Let's Chat live stream we did. And I think we talked a little bit about that specifically. So definitely take a look at that one. It's called Let's Chat Moderation. And I think that one was with who was that with? Was it oh might have been Mustard Plays. I think it was Mustard Plays. But definitely take a look. And then if we have another Let's Chat for moderation, definitely bring questions like that as well, because we will absolutely be able to answer it with the team there if that works on that. Well, leaderboards, global leaderboards be added to creative as a fun add into games. Global leaderboards feedback we are aware of. And yeah, we are aware of that feedback. Please keep sharing it. Please upvote it. If it's in there, please let us know. Can Epic provide AI that create audio like versus assistants? We do have the new Epic Developer Assistant. Have you used that? How has it been going? I don't. It's just for verse specifically. It's not going to create audio. But that is cool feedback. Like, could we create some kind of tool that helps make audio? Also, definitely make sure to check out Patchwork. Or see if you know someone who knows how to really work well in Patchwork, because the tools there are amazing. And I feel like it's a bit underrated for the use because of how cool it is. It could be a little daunting maybe because there's a lot of really cool tools tied to it. It's a bit it was made by audio designers, which is really, really cool. Some really, really awesome audio designers that have been in the industry for a long time too. So, but definitely dive into that if you haven't as well, because I highly recommend. It is pretty intuitive. Will there ever be medallions or medallion device added? I am aware of that feedback as your community manager, and that has been shared, and that is on the radar. So yes, we are aware of it. And I think we just wait and see kind of what happens with the other devices we're working on to see if that kind of is part of it. 'Cause I know we're definitely aware of that. What's past moderation? Yeah, any moderation questions we can't answer. Sorry guys, we're not the moderation team. We just don't know. Any updates on OG movement? No, we can't speak to that here. I'm so sorry. We get that question a lot everywhere, but this team and myself are not aware of the status of movement animations. Okay, cool. Let's see. Oh, one other question. I don't know if we've seen this, but can you guys do more of the UEFN team games? I recently saw a prop hunt party with staff that was extremely oh, like us playing the UEFN Islands. Is that what you mean? Funny enough, it has been something we've been considering. To be totally transparent, it's kind of I think it's just really myself and Tina, but Tina's also doing the UE streams, so we're a bit slammed trying to get you all the educational content, but we would love to do some fun streams in the future if time and resources allow it. We absolutely would. It feels to me like most community wants the educational stuff because y'all are trying to learn. But if that's something you want, please let us know and upvote that because we would love to give it a try at the very least. Okay, cool. I think that pretty much covers everything here. Did I miss anything, Aiden? Any other questions you wanted to? Okay, cool. Sweet. The Gravitron. We're aware of the Gravitron fireball. That feedback has been shared with the team when we asked about all the most wanted items and weapons. Also, thank you all who have participated in the most wanted inquiries that we have done. Really appreciate that. Keep them coming with what you want and what you need, and we'll do our best to get it there. Some things just have too many limitations or stuff going on in the back end where it's kind of really difficult to bring that stuff over, but the team, will do their best to do it if they can. Sometimes it requires just overhauling the entire item or the entire weapon, and that requires a whole lot of extra work. And when there's resources kind of working on more of the new stuff, so we do our best to prioritize. If it's something you really want, I know I saw Gravitron a lot, but also thank you all for sharing that feedback. Just know sometimes it's just based on limitations on the back end that makes it harder. So if you ever see something you're like, we've been asking for it, doesn't come out, it can be a myriad of different reasons, but it mainly has to do with like how intensive that would be. So keep an eye out though, because they definitely have a list of all your most wanted. So thank you for that. Cool. Awesome. Well, let's see. I guess I'll ask one more question from the team on the way out, and that's if you have any final thoughts or advice that you would like to give to this community that is here today. Everyone here seems to be really hungry for more information for being a successful developer. So, any final thoughts? I think they would appreciate. It's a good crew.
I saw a few comments saying, "Is it too late to make a Squid Game island?" And the answer is no. It's never too
No.
late. Make them. I think it's a pretty well liked type of game. I think I'd love to see new types of games come out of there too. I'm still waiting for my Korean debt simulator game. So when someone makes that, please send it to me so I can then play that, and then I'll go play Squid Game, and that'll be lore accurate. It'll complete the loop. So yeah, definitely keep making Squid Game islands. I mean, that's the best way for us to add more content to them too, is if people are playing them and making things in them. So keep doing that.
I guess for me, just thank you for making islands with us and using our tools and giving us all the cool feedback so we can make them better. It's just been really fun watching this launch and all the cool things that have come out of it. So keep surprising us and thank you. But yeah, closing thoughts. I don't know. Just comes back to what we were talking about earlier, I suppose. Just like be playful with it, create new things, just try things. You might think it's a really dumb idea that will never work, but just make it anyway and see what happens and see if you can surprise yourself. I would love to see what you come up with.
Absolutely. Cool. And final thoughts we've got from @hashtag great devices. You all were involved in adding. I think everyone in the creator community appreciates all the hard work all of you do and giving us such awesome tools to work with. Thank you all so much for coming and being here, and checking out the stream, asking all your really thoughtful questions. I mean, you are all the reason that we're here and that we get to do what we do. And we hope this was helpful. Hope you really appreciate it. And thank you, team that joined, Dylan, Vicky, and Aiden. Thank you so much. And also Dan, the man. Thank you all so much for your help and for coming here and answering all the wonderful questions and sharing your nuggets of advice. This was one of the most insightful ones I think that we've had. So really, really appreciate all of your time and effort here. And yeah, I guess we'll see you all on the next live stream, which is actually coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up. I just realized it hasn't been announced yet, I don't think. No, it has. It was yesterday. Whew. Phew. Okay. No, we announced it. Let's chat on Thursday. Usually it's like 2 days, so forgive me. Yeah, Thursday we'll have the next Let's Chat, and that'll be with Rubik, and it'll be all about UEF and development. So be there or be square, and make sure you're dropping in all your questions right now onto our forums for that. Yeah, and we'll see you then on Thursday. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.